Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. Well, we all know that Chuck Schumer tried to save himself. He was trying to save his dying political career with this little shutdown stunt. Frankly, I think the Democrat Party as a whole was basically in the exact same seat as Chuck Schumer. All these old guard Democrat fossils have been falling out of favor lately, their political stocks plummeting like Beyond Meat, and so they prioritized attempting to remedy their situation rather than doing the right thing for the country. They were signaling to their left-wing audience, look, we're fighting on behalf of you. And well, as I've been saying forever, it's a futile freaking effort. You can't stop this monster that you have created. And boy, is this a left-wing Democrat Party created monster. They created this absolute out-of-control, radical, young communist base that frankly cannot and will not be satiated. They want absolute power or they'll burn everything down to the freaking ground. And so in this desperate attempt to save themselves, I think instead what they did was they lit the frickin' fuse. They signed their own frickin' death notes. Chuck Schumer wanted to be a fighter, to rebrand himself for the radical base, because obviously showing up in clown outfits at New York City's Pride events wasn't enough to do it anymore. But instead, what has he gotten? Well, he's done. That's what he's gotten. He is over. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is now gunning for his Senate seat. She all but confirmed it. You could pretty much read between the lines. And so I'm saying this is the end of Chuck Schumer's career, and frankly, I think it's the death of the Democrat old guard and the Democrat Party as we know it. Let's talk about it, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So here we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know, a couple months ago, she kept saying, well, she's not going for Chuck Schumer's seat, but now all of a sudden, it seems like she's telegraphing the exact opposite. Take a look at this.
And on the shutdown, how would you characterize the way that Senator Schumer handled this shutdown?
I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there was no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing. And now people's health care costs are going to be skyrocketing, and we want to make sure that we have a path to ending this moment and finding relief for them right now. But I think that when we talk about this debate about the Democratic Party, it is indeed about the party writ large and our ability to fight or not.
You let Schumer stay as minority leader?
I think what is so important for folks to understand is that this problem is bigger than one person, and it actually is bigger than the minority leader in the Senate. You had 8 Senate Democrats who coordinated their own votes on this. You have 2 retiring members. Many of them are also up in several cycles from now, with the hope that people are going to forget this moment. And I think what's important is that we understand that a leader is a reflection of the party. And Senate Democrats have selected their leadership to represent them. The question needs to be bigger than just one person. We have several Senate primaries this cycle. I know I'm being asked about New York. That is years from now. I have to remind my own constituents because they think that this election is this year. We actually do have Senate elections this year, and my hope is that people across this country actually participate in their primary election.
Yeah, I'd say when the movement of this new radical left-wing agenda and culture, the one woman who I believe is commanding the grassroots energy of the Democrat Party, when she starts framing you as an obstacle, as a problem, as somebody who betrayed the party, you are finished. She is coming for your seat. And of course you know she is, because she's killing him in the polls. I mean, it's not even close. And so what's happened, I think, after this government shutdown is not a revival of the Democrat brand and image in the eyes of their most radical and fanatical voters. No, it's a base realignment. They want politicians who will burn it to the ground, who will keep the government shut down no matter what, who will resist no matter the pain that they cause, because at the end of the day, they have no love for the system. They have no love for country. They want to destroy it and rebuild it in their own socialist image. And it seems like the first domino to fall here is going to be Chuck Schumer's seat. And trust me when I tell you, it is gone. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion.
Was doing this just for political gain. He's worried about AOC. I don't know what it is about these men up here that are afraid of strong women. My mama was a strong woman. I'm married to a very strong woman. My chief of staff in Knoxville and here in Washington, D.C. are strong women. And AOC, I think, will take him on. I think I talked to her tonight, and she'll announce tomorrow. If she announced tomorrow, she'd raise $10 million over the weekend. they'd be throwing money at her as fast as it'd be record amounts because people are sick of Chuck Schumer.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to raise a mountain of cash. She is going to steamroll Schumer, and it's not even going to be close. I mean, before the election even starts, before we even get to her running for that seat, she's already got a massive polling lead. Imagine her massive polling lead plus a massive fundraising lead. There's just absolutely no way that Chuck Schumer can ward her off. He would need to promise her something. He would need to be in a position of leverage to get her to stand down. But the reality is, AOC has all the leverage. All of it. Especially in New York City. They just elected Zoran Mamdani, and so you pretty much know where New York Democrat politics are headed. There's a gravitational pull away from the center and shifting far frickin' left. And it's not moving there slowly. No, it's blasting off. And it seems like I'm not the only one seeing it post-government shutdown. Even lifelong Democrat Chris Cuomo is saying the exact same thing.
I think the Democratic Party, as we know it, is about to end. I think that this is the birth of the new left. I think the reason that you see so many high-profile Democrats, especially in the House, accusing the Democratic senators for ending the shutdown of basically being traitors. Did you hear AOC? She was literally accusing them of like a conspiracy. And she said, in exchange for nothing. It's really interesting to me. It makes so little sense on the merits that I have to believe it's a ploy. So was there some deal on the table that we don't know about? Was something getting close that they know that we don't? Because if that's not the case, and we're about to talk to somebody who absolutely knows if it were the case, certainly better than AOC or Jeffries would. If that's not what they know, then what this really is a line in the sand for them, that we're not with them anymore. And that's why the vote will be somewhat telling also. We've never seen this happen before, not in the modern era. So capitulation on policy from the majority party in power when the government gets shut down, obviously by the minority, has never happened. I get why you would want to believe that something could happen, but with the absence of any proof, it only leaves you with one possibility, which is they want to divide the party, get new leaders in a new direction. I believe this could be the moment that the populist movement, that is a reaction to MAGA, which I've been calling mega. It's not the same, but it's fueled in reaction to MAGA and by the Democratic Socialists of America and with their new allies who are playing with some fundamentalist culture plays, are getting ready to take over.
It's over. The Democrat Party as we know it is officially dead. And now in comes a brand new coalition of younger, more chronically online kind of Reddit mods, more maximalist, far left, full-on revolutionaries. And these people do not want to negotiate. They don't want guardrails. They don't want the filibuster. They don't want bipartisanship. They want control. They're not inspired by these backroom tacticians. No, they want to promise absolute rupture, nuclear options, full-on resistance. They're coming in as little activists, right? The GOP are the existential threat, and they're the heroes of the day sent to resist. And I find it kind of funny because following Zoran Mamdani's election, the Democrats tried to play it off cool as if, they brought their base back together. They're more powerful than ever. Look at these 3 elections that we won in our own states and cities. But I think that couldn't be further from the truth. The Democrat Party is in a moment of absolute internal turmoil right now. It's pulling in 2 different directions, and it seems like it's about to fracture. And like I said, I think Schumer is going to be the first domino to fall. And following Chuck Schumer losing his seat, I think it's going to be a cascade, one after another. The Democrat old guard is going to be forced to submit or be replaced by younger ideologues who don't care about tradition or about how things used to be done. And so now I guess we're getting to a point where it's time to test an old theory. The old theory is that Mamdani-style politics, AOC-style politics, it can work. On a localized level, AOC is certainly very popular in Manhattan. She's popular in her district. But what you'll hear all the time is that kind of politics will never work on the national stage. Well, I guess we're going to put that to the test now, aren't we? A working class swing voter is going to recoil from this Marxist radicalism that's overtaking. I guess we'll find out. But one thing's for sure, a massive inflection point, a change is happening. Just like it happened in the RNC. When Donald Trump took over, the MAGA base came in and basically cleaned house and reformed the party in a brand new image. Well, that's going to be happening on the Democrat side, but I wonder if they're going to be as successful. I wonder if they're they're going to be able to convince the majority of Americans to ditch the Bill Clinton, Barack Obama style left-wing politics in favor of democratic socialism. Wonder if that's going to work. Personally, I have my doubts, and I think the Democrat establishment has their doubts. That's why they've been trying to ward this off, but I think they can no longer protect themselves. The anti-communist shield is worn out. This party overhaul is happening, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. It's going to be very interesting to see whether Pennsylvania or other states would vote for a presidential candidate like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.